Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and we're back again with another Spirit Island video. Today, we're going to be playing Wounded Waters Bleeding, an incredibly complicated spirit. While I've been making these videos, I know I've been making all kinds of inaccuracies or had opportunities where I could have optimized my play, or maybe I misread some text on a card, and people have been pointing them out. And I want to say that I'm perfectly happy to have all of that happen. I think it's good and important that we try and learn all of these new spirits collectively as a community. I'm just happen to be the guy who put the video out there, but I know we're all going through these struggles trying to learn the spirits, and I know for a fact that the comments are going to be full of ways to optimize this spirit. As I've been playing them a little bit, trying to prepare before I make this video, it's been pretty rough. I mean, the mental overhead that goes into just trying to understand what you're doing and how every little thing affects every little other thing, it can be quite mentally taxing. So I try and be talkative in these videos, so I'm just not like silently going in the tank every turn. So I'm going to try and keep this, entertaining and watchable for you guys. But the thing that really makes this spirit hard to conceptualize from the beginning is that he's kind of like 7 spirits in one. For the first 2 turns, you play him like this. And then on turn 3, you get to pick up a new special rule. So this is spirit number 2. This is spirit number 3. And then 2 turns, you'll play that spirit for 2 turns, and then you pick up a new innate, and you'll play that spirit for the rest of the game. So each of those 2 paths are going to have 2 more paths to splinter down. Ultimately, there's going to be 7 different ways that the spirit can exist over the course of a game. You're only going to use 3 of them in any one single game, but there are 7 total. And so trying to really think and plan out all the different ways to execute the spirit certainly leaves plenty of opportunity for improvement, I think is the nice way to put it. So get ready. I'm going to fuck this up pretty bad, and we're going to have a great time in the comments trying to figure out how to do it better. By this point in the series, there's only 2 adversaries left, Prussia and Habsburg. So I don't know which one I'd rather play with Wounded Waters and which one I'd rather play with Dewey, but let's see. We've got Habsburg. Okay. Alright, so we set up with a sacred site in the blighted land, and then a sacred site and another blight in the high numbered land with a town setup symbol. So we start here and here with this. Okay. And then I like to just put the 5 healing markers out right at the beginning and then just get this thing off the screen. Just one less thing to have to look at. And let's take a look at all of these cards. I can't remember if any of these were previewed during the campaign, so I'm just going to treat them all as new. So we've got Bloodwater and Bloodlust. Add a beast and a disease, 1 cost slow, range 1 from a presence with a blight. Okay, so we have 2 lands that we can target that from at the start of the game. I'm going to pull this one up next, actually, because this also is the same range and cost. Range 1 from a blight, cost 1 slow, and then it's 2 fear, push an explorer, and a town. And then we have 2 fast cards. Okay, Boon of Corrupted Blood, 1 damage in one of target spirit's lands, and since we're playing a solo, that's the only way it can be used, but in multiplayer, it would additionally give them a 2nd damage and a beast gather at the cost of sacrificing a presence. The last one is gather 2 towns from a single land. Okay. We are a water animal spirit, and both of these slow cards have both elements, and these fast cards have one or the other, but not both. There's also all these new healing cards to look at. So I think the easiest way, instead of reading all 4 of them and trying to like go through all the different iterations of thinking about how everything works, the simple way that I've figured out is that for both healing cards for our special rule, they trigger when you push and gather something. So with Serene Waters, when you push or gather invaders or Dahan, you get to downgrade. And for Roiling, when you push or gather beasts and Dahan, you do damage. So damage and downgrading are the 2 things. Well, we'll get into the relation with the adversary later, but the quick version is I think we're going to be going for animals here. And then on the innates, it has a gather a beast versus gather Dahan. So it's kind of cool that they found a way to make, regardless of which combination we go with, trying to get both innates to work with both special rules. Because like I said, gathering is the common thread. So they both gather something. Then we get fear here, and we get defense here. Okay, now we get to add a beast. And this one will let us have damage happen. Okay, and then this one says for each beast we get to push, and then we get to do a transform. So down the bottom it gets pretty different, but this does have more pushing. This has a lot more Dahan centric. This is more of like a Dahan and defend, and this is beasts and fear and pushing and damage. So the other thing is this video is gonna have a lot of new content because we've got the Habsburg mining expedition. I did do a video on them back when they were first revealed. We are against HME4, so we can cross out these bottom little bits here. We'll worry about them in a future video, but for today's purpose, the most complex part of this is understanding mining lands. So anytime that you have 3 or more invaders in a land, it is a mining land. And basically, in a mining land, if it's in the build slot, it instead will ravage. And then a disease will stop an action in a mining land, whether it's a ravage or a build. Well, I guess, yeah, build actions become ravage actions. Anyways, disease become more powerful, which is nice. We do have a disease adding power, so that could help us out in this matchup. Number 2 is just setup, so we've already got that going. Number 3, after the build step, we have to upgrade upgrade an explorer into a town. And then number 4 adds the salt card. So we'll have a few turns before we get to the salt card. So we'll talk more about that when we get there, and then you can actually see what the thing is. But all right, we start with the sands. Okay. Now, in the beginning of the game, there's really only one growth option to pick because reclaiming doesn't give us presence, and we have to have a healing card before we can take G3. So that decision is forced. And if we're picking for elements, we need animal or water as our 2 primaries. Thankfully, we got 3 choices for animal and 2 choices for water. Interestingly, all of these add disease, which is helpful against HME. And so portents, I'm just not going to consider. Let's see, what about need for secondary elements? Since my hope is I really want to go into animal because I forgot to mention the loss condition is that if there are 8 invaders or blight combined, then we lose. And so if we downgrade, the quantity of things that exist in the land is the same, and we're still just as likely to get a loss condition. Whereas if we kill things, we're going to be okay. Additionally, because they do a lot of upgrading, downgrading loses value. So I think the play here is to go for damage and aggression, and I want to push myself into animal cards. Or I guess animal healing cards. And so if I go into animal, I need sun, fire. Like we'd ultimately wind up like this. So we'd have animal is our big one, a little bit of water, one splash of sun, and then fire. So right here we have our flex element, and right here we also have a flex element, and here we have an any, so that will take some pressure off, but we will need to naturally produce that sun. But yeah, there's no sun card really being offered that's worth considering. So really I was just trying to find a reason to pick one of these over the other, and I think Tormenting Rot Flies is going to be the pick. It produces more fear and it has better range. It's a little bit less restricted. So yeah, because using it for the bottom half once is as much fear as producing 4 disease with the other guy. So this we can still use later on in the game if we just want to push a fear victory, because it can produce a whole fear card by itself. Okay, so we go here. We have to... Thinking I might just kill that explorer with Boon of Corrupted Blood. Alright, I could do this, 2 fear, push an explorer town out, push an explorer town out. Yeah, actually I think that's gonna be the play. So after playing cards each spirit phase, okay. So the next we have to, I think we're gonna do this. Oh, we're supposed to start with 4 energy. So we finish playing our cards in the spirit phase and we claim a healing marker. Okay, we want to push for animal, so that's where we're gonna go. Then claim a healing card if we meet its requirements. We do not. We need 3 total healing markers. We got 1. And then we have to destroy a presence or forget a power card. So I'm going to sacrifice this presence. All right, fast. We have no fast powers. Both of our innates are slow. Event. Skip it. We build. And now we need to do an upgrade. And I think I'm going to upgrade here. And exploring the mountains. Okay. So this split elements are treated like an any in that you don't have to decide which one you're going to take immediately. You can decide at any time during the game. So right now, because we're here, we could take a water or an animal to pick up one of these. So now that we've seen all the information, we can make a decision. So I could take water and kick both of these explorers out, or I could take an animal and get a fear and kill this guy. I think we're going to push both of these guys out, and then maybe I'll play like Boon of Corrupted Blood here. Or I'm probably just going to gather that town out and let that happen. So let's do 2 fear, push an explorer town. Let's push it right to the middle. And then we're going to gain a water. Then we're going to push 2 explorers. Okay, time passes. All right, next turn we have to gain a minor. And that does add a beast. So one of the things we have to think about is how are we going to actually go about leveraging these cards to win the game. And this one says that every time you add or move a beast, you get to do damage. So a beast adding power is a great way to start, doing things. Additionally, the effect is nice. I could play it right now and solve that land, which I think is a very good play. Okay, so we gain that. We add a presence. To do this effect, we need a Sacred Site. Gain no energy for the turn. We either sacrifice a presence or forget a card. Let's sacrifice this presence. Then we will play, and we'll take another animal. Okay, fast, we create a beast and defend 4. And the only innate we can get is animal, so I'm just going to grab that. Okay, event. Explorers have health, that's fine. Beast generate fear. Okay, so we get 1 fear for this guy, and then this one's going to move. So this next turn, I'll just move it here. Okay, add a Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. Very nice. No fear cards yet. Ravage the sands, build the mountains, and then we have to do an upgrade. I'm thinking about upgrading here, so I can just gather these guys out together as a pair. And explore the wetlands, the stacked up lands. Okay. We do get to do a damage, a fear, and push a Dahan. So fear, damage, and a push. Lets us play around cultural asym. Okay, so I think we're doing this. Since we already have 2 animals, we're guaranteed to get this roiling water, so I'm just going to snag it. And then for my second card, I think we're going to do this. Adding a disease will prevent a blight from a ravage. So I think that'll let us extend the game for another turn. Okay. I think that's what I want to do. But I got to gain a minor. This one has both elements. None of these other ones have any elements. But I am taking a look at these Badland cards. Seems very interesting to me. I like Unquenchable Flames to get some Badlands out there. Okay, and now we have to forget a card or sacrifice a presence. I think after this turn, we'll forget Draw the Water's Edge. So I'm going to add a presence, sack a presence. Yeah, I think everything is perfectly fine where it is. So we'll go here, gather 2 towns from a single land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not going to lose yet. That'll come soon, but not yet. We do get to grab a water from during that spirit phase. And the invaders event. Explore a little more. Add a beast to a land, no buildings, no blight. So maybe we'll go here. And add a Dahan to an inland land with Dahan. Move and explore from an inland land. Okay, goodbye. Ravage. Build. Because this is a mining land, there are 3 invaders. Instead of building, it will ravage. And then we explore the jungles. So our escalation is to explore 2 lands that are not shown on any action. So basically explore mountains or sands. So I'm going to drop an explore in both of these. Maybe we get some kind of a beast event, I think. Oh, and explore actions add an extra explorer. And that is an explore action. So we would have to go like this. That's tricky. Okay. So now, here, if we take a water, we get this innate. And if we take an animal, we get that innate instead. This one does 1 damage. Push a Dahan. This one is push 2 beasts. And each time that we push a beast, we get a damage. So it winds up being 2 damage, but just not in the target land, just in an adjacent land. And then this one can also push 2 Dahan, which Dahan push also becomes damage. So I think going for the water here is going to be better. Okay. So how do we do this? So now here's where we're going to start really screwing stuff up. I think we could use this innate here to push 2... Well, okay, we could push both these explorers and prevent that from building, and then push both of these Dahan over here to do like 2 damage. And then we could use this to like add a beast and kill off the city. That's one line of play. And it does seem to be a decent one, but adding the beast means that we don't add the disease. But yeah, we still only take 1 blight and we'll be okay. So I think that's the play. It sounds good enough to keep this video going. So we're gonna push 2 explore. Oh no, it's push 2 explorers or Dahan. Let's take that fear back. Okay, so we could target here, and then we could push an explorer and then push 2 towns in order to completely clear that land. Then we could just add the disease here to work on that ravage. Is that good? Does that get us very far ahead? I'm not sure that it does. We could go here, push like 2 Dahan this way, push a beast this way, add another beast in to kill a town. To start trying to get ahead of the invaders. Alternatively, we could add the beast disease here, and then push the 2 beasts this way and kill this. Holy hell, the spirit. Oh my god. There's so much happening. What do I do? I think I just gotta make a decision and go with it. Alright, timestamp this. Tell me what you would do, because I feel like I've got nothing but bad choices. Or like, not bad choices, right? Like, any of these choices will work, but I have no clue which one's optimal. Okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead with we're going to go here. We're going to push 2 explorers and then no, push 2 Dahan and then push a beast. So push 2 Dahan, which will go here. Then we're gonna push a beast to do a damage here. And then we're gonna go here to do another beast, which is another damage, and then a disease. That's a whole lot of something. I don't know if it's the right thing. Okay. So on this next turn, I could go bottom track, gain energy. Now that we have a healing card, we can do this. And if we do that, we would have to go for water. There's no benefit of going for animal. Just missing the water. It's not great because we're missing that innate. Let's gain a minor first. Okay. Interesting. So we have Territorial Strife. Looks to be a good card. We could Lure of the Unknown. Gather this guy out so we don't take a blight there. Territorial Strife is a lot of damage, and we seem to do a lot of ping damage. And it also gives us the sun that we need eventually for that. Maybe I'm playing a little too simple-minded, but this is what I'm going to go with. And then we're going to gain an energy. So we could go 3 card plays and do like this, 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 pick up a water, and then we hit our innate. That should be okay. So I'll grow here, and then we're obviously going to pick up an animal. So now no matter what, we are going to be getting the animal innate. And then we can forget a card. So I'll forget this gather 2 towns card. So that way now we're fully locked in on the animal innate. Okay, fast phase. These are only fast cards. So I guess we get to do 1 damage. Maybe instead of going here, I should go here. And then just do damage. And then maybe I use my special rule to gather a blight out. Well, if a blight cascades, it just upgrades. So I'm going to gather this blight out to make this loss condition marginally less likely. Okay, event. Stage 2. Exactly 1 coastal city. Okay, we can add a town. Disease strife. Invaders skip ravage actions. That's good. That'll save one of these disease for the future. And we get to be saved by the event. We get to push this town. So you will go here. Turn that into a mining land. Okay, ravage, blight, dies, build, boom, skip ravage actions. And then we have to do an upgrade. Upgrade and explore into a town. So I'm going to upgrade this because we're sitting on 3 damage. And then we explore, and we explore the non-mining lands. So anything with 0, 1, or 2 invaders gets explored right now. And that's why I gathered the town here, because it's going to wind up with 3 invaders anyways, so we might as well just, have a little more control over the situation. Now, when the build happens, it's going to be only the non-mining lands. So now that this land is a mining land because of the explore, its status has changed from a non-mining land to a mining land, and it will not build. But then when the ravage happens, it only ravages the mining lands. So there's a little bit of back and forth. So that can be a pretty tricky thing, but it's the thing that really makes HME interesting. So I really recommend everyone really try and push yourself up to HME 4. All right, here we go. So like I said, we got our 3 damage we can do here. We have 1 damage, push it to Han, and pushing to Han will do a damage, and then 1 damage in the same original target land, add a beast, which will do another damage in that land. So in the target land, do 3 damage and push it to Han. Okay, do 3 damage and push it to Han, which is itself worth another damage. So obviously these 2 are the looks, and I think the play is to solve our ravage. So 3 damage and a fear, that 3rd damage coming in the form of adding a beast, and then we get to push a Dahan, which I will go this way with. Okay, over here we get to do 3 damage, so we'll kill those. And then over here we can either add a disease or get 3 fear. And well, disease are just going to be good. We're going to get tons of value out of disease over the course of the game. So let's do that. Go right there. The cool trick with this is that it's not going to build this next turn, so it's not going to consume the disease. And then if we do 1 damage to it, it won't ravage either, and it still won't consume the disease. So we can actually make this disease sit around for a really long time. And I like that quite a bit. Let's go time passes. Okay. And here we could gain a card, go for the reclaim, and if we did this, this, and then any 0-cost card, because then we know we're gonna have this innate. So we could pick up an animal, and then any 0-cost card that has an animal on it will get us this innate, and any 0-cost card that has water on it would get us nothing by itself, but in conjunction with an animal would also get us that innate. Do you want to play this greedy? Alternatively, we could go top track. Is that even good? Right, because the difference is we reclaim, we play 3 cards, and we know exactly what we're doing. And we're going to be on 2 energy. So this is our only 0-cost card. So in both situations, we start with these 2, and then we can play a 1-cost with both elements, such as this. So how's that look? That looks pretty solid for a turn. Or we could do this. But I think adding the disease is really nice in this matchup. So yeah, I think reclaim is the play. So we're gonna reclaim, gain an energy, gain a minor. And it's a good thing that we chose this path because we completely whiffed. Let's just take a defend card. Always a good thing to have in the back pocket. Sorry, that's not our presence. We get no presence because of the reclaim. So now we gain an energy on a 0-cost. And I guess we don't have to play Unquenchable Flames this turn. So we could get ourselves up to 4 animals. So we could actually hit this innate. Oh, man. This healing marker doesn't actually matter because in either way we get this innate. Okay, so if we did this, and then any animal will get us that innate. As far as ravages, nothing's ravaging this turn, right? There's no need to be defensive. So perhaps, so like Guardian Serpents, Confounding Mist, like those are not going to be played under any circumstance. And the question is, do we want Unquenchable Flames or a different card? I think I want to hold on to this because that single water element is really nice to hit the extra tier of this innate. So something like Boon of Corrupted Blood sounds pretty metal. Probably use it here because we could also still explore and hit that land. Boon of Corrupted Blood. What does this thing even get us? So Gather Beast, do a damage. 2 fear if invaders are present. That would be after the damage is dealt, which is fine. 1 explorer and 1 town or Dahan do damage to other invaders only. So we get to, let's say we just hammer down on this big land, right? So we gather a beast in, kill this. Then they do damage to other invaders only, so we'd kill the city. Then for each beast, push, we'd have 3 beasts, and then we'd push an explorer, and so we get to completely clear the land with that left innate. Wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. Surely that's got to be the play. And then if we do that, I don't know. Fuck it. That's got to be the play. Okay. So we execute that innate as we just laid out. So we gather a beast, do a damage, 2 fear if invaders are present, a explorer and a town do damage to other invaders only. So kill a city. Then 3 beasts, so we get to push 3 explorers and 3 towns or 3 Dahan. Pushing the Dahan is more damage. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe we'll try and do something crazy here next turn. So let's see, if we go here, that's 6, 7. Let's gather that out with our special rule. That should happen in the spirit phase, but like, I'm still learning, so bear with me. Deal a damage. So let's just kill this explorer and kill the whole chain of custody with that guy. Invader phase. During the first successful ravage action, increase damage dealt by the invader stage. So that's going to be a 3 damage explorer. That will flip the blight card, and they will still die, but that's frustrating. ISO will land with beast. Let's ISO you. That's a fear. And then we get to add a Dahan to land with the most Dahan. That is not our action, so we do not get to do that. So, or sorry, we don't get the damage because it's not our action that did it. But we have 2 fear cards in order to bail us out. Okay. Solved. Great. Good plays. 1 damage there in a land with Dahan. I'm going to kill this to stop that build. Great. So we're going to ravage. Now we're going to build in the lands that are not salt lands. Okay, and if there is no invader in the land, it can't build. So it only builds here and here. And then we explore the sands. So we explore, and then the escalation is to explore 2 lands that are not shown in any action, so not the sands. So we can just go, I don't know, here and here. By not, or actually, sorry, I can choose to, the cool thing, actually a cool little way to play around HME is by leveraging like wilds and isolates. Isolates prevent explorers, so I can declare that I'm going to explore A2, but because it's isolated, it fails to explore. But I intended to do it, I did my best, it just doesn't work. So as I understand, that is legal. Okay, and now we are in the slow phase. We have a Slowinate with the 2 damage out of B, so 3 damage, and then push a Dahan for another damage. And I think we're going to go Fear, 2 damage, add a Beast, which does another damage, and there's no Dahan to push. And then here, we're going to do 3 damage to explorers or towns in here. And then here, we add a beast and a disease. So adding a beast does a damage, and then a disease will stop both ravages next turn in this land. Time passes. Okay. So this next turn we'll be gaining 3 energy, and we can play any 3 cards. So we don't need to go for this extra energy, unless if we wanted to go for the extra energy and then hit a reclaim one. But there's, once again, we can play full offense, so these 2 cards are not needed. And so we could, as a baseline position, how good is these 3 cards? We could grab the extra animal, and so we hit a bunch of innates, gather a beast, do a damage, 2 fear, and gather a beast, kill that, and then the 2 fear doesn't do anything, and then the push doesn't do any, I guess the push the something, but, okay. Or we could just let this run away because I'll just defend it next turn. So that's pretty mediocre as those 3 specifically. I think I want to flex into like a major, so let's go pick up 1 more minor going top track. Just get ourselves a bunch of energy. We do have a moon, but we have no other way of getting fire, so we can't threshold like everything. that does have a sun. That little sun that we need is really nice. And yeah, this has all the elements that we want. Well, the plant doesn't do anything. It's missing the fire. But I think go here, here, gain sacred site for a guardian serpents in the future. And then, I don't know, something along the ballpark of this. How's that look? We're missing the fire. So maybe we'll throw in an unquenchable and just not get the Badlands. Could I have gotten something better? This is the only way I could have gotten fire. Actually, let's look at that. Since I have all the defend cards, if I go here and do this, we're in a better position. But I'm not hitting this because without the sun, so maybe the fourth animal doesn't do anything. So then maybe at that point, I do this. And that's the play we get. I think that's better. Yeah, because we have all these defend cards sitting around doing nothing, so having a little bit of Dahan movement ain't so bad, and Dahan is damage. You only get 1 damage from the whole power, as opposed to beasts get 1 damage per beast, just because Dahan power is like, if that did 3 damage or 6 damage for 1 energy, like 3 damage in the target land, 3 damage where you push it, like, that'd be way too good. Alright, let's try this. Okay, now as far as fast goes, we only have this. So we gather a beast. That would do damage, kill that. Okay, yeah, I want to leave that, that's fine. So I want to gather a beast, and maybe we'll do all of that into this land. Gather a beast, do a damage. 2 fear, because invaders are present. And we can push. So there's 2 beasts, so we can push 2 explorers and 2 Dahan. And 2 towns, right? So we could run this all the way down to here. That is an incredible amount of control. Is that something I want, though? Oh, man. I'm not going to redo it, but we could, like, push this, and, like, I don't know, whatever, like this. I don't know if that'll do damage or not, but let's say it doesn't. And then we could have played, like, a confounding miss and defend that for 4 and then to kill a bunch of stuff. That would have been an incredible play. I don't think we could have made it work with all the elements, but just later on in the game, like, I realized that that is something that is within the scope of what we could accomplish. Specifically because we're against HME and we can force ravages to happen. That's fascinating. Anyways, do we want to push things? 6, 7, 8. I mean, this is 8 right here. So I think we're good. Rising interest. Okay. We can return a fear card to the box, which is always nice. I'd have to forget this guy, though. I think that's probably fine. We have other disease adding cards. Because, yeah, nothing's ravaging, so the extra damage, there's literally no downside. So we'll do here. Add a beast to a jungle. Okay. And then we get a fear. That's another fear card. Then add a wilds to a land with the Hun. Okay, angry mobs, 2 or more explorers. Oh, we get 1 kill. Woo woo! Strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders, 1 damage per strife that it has. Well, at the very least, I can put the strife and damage here. And then if we don't have... I think we have the other damage to mess with it. Or maybe I just hit it with the unquenchable flames and let it be till next turn. Okay, disease prevents the ravage from the salt card. And then disease prevents that the build slots. It's a ravage action, but it's still prevented by the disease. Then we have to do an upgrade. We will upgrade you. Exploring the wetlands. Explore. Eat that. And then we have to explore jungles or mountains. So I'll go like this. Okay, slow phase. Let's do Unquenchable Flames, Fear, Damage, Badlands, and then that won't heal at end of turn. Dahan, push and gather 3 Dahan. So we can do this, which will do 1 damage. We can defend here, or actually, hold on. Surely there's got to be a better way to do this. Let's hold off on that for a second. 2 fear, push an explorer and a town. I could push these guys this way and then force a ravage here as well. Or we could push it this way, make that ravage. Yeah, I think that's the play. So 2 fear, push this way, because then here I can do gather and then push 3, doing a damage. So now when this is defended, it'll be solved, and this land we can just do like 1 fast damage here, so we can do a defend 4, and actually 1 fast damage by defending it for 4. So that solves those 2 lands. Okay, and then I have my slow here. So functionally 3 damage and a fear. And this can be 4 damage, which is enough to kill this whole land. Or I could kill this city. And then if there's a way for me to kill the other city fast with this boon of corrupted blood, I could do 2 damage. Okay, so let's use our right innate, fear, 2 damage, and add a beast. So adding the beast, that's basically 3 damage. And then I get to push a Dahan, which I don't have a Dahan. Okay. Time passes. So if our plan is to defend, let the Dahan do the work there. These guys both should have 1 damage on them, because they don't heal. In fact, actually, I'm only 1 fear away from Terror level 3. If I just kill this fast, I win. So, let's gain a major. Yeah, we got a new major. It's a slow one, though, and we can't use it. It is kind of on element, though. Dream the Untouched Land's too expensive. We're going to take the new one. Very exciting. And then we'll just, forget this card. Reclaim here. I believe we go here. Has 2 health. There's a Badlands. We do 1 damage. And then we kill that. Alright, gain, whatever. Kill that and we win. Oh, wow. Yeah, I tried to play this guy as linearly as possible, and I still feel like I can definitely tell this is a spirit that the more you play it, the more patterns you're going to see, the more ridiculous combinations there's going to be, and it'll be just brilliant. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Very cool spirit. Yeah, totally different. I don't think there's any spirit that's anything like it in the game. Doing all that damage through pushing. But like it's like a token so in a way this kind of felt like a Sharp Fangs. But just like, yeah, like the way that we play it was very Sharp Fangs-esque, right? But all kinds of just little textures and details, and then obviously we're still missing out on half the spirit. I believe the way that this guy's supposed to work flavorfully is that you're supposed to change his name by the end of the game. So he started off as Wounded Waters Bleeding, and now his name is Roiling Waters Taste of Ruin. So I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of Roiling Waters Taste of Ruin. Catch you guys around.